All right, people. So now we're going to be doing the walk, and we're going to try and keep that same pose like this. And we're just going to get kind of a kind of this type of a pose, yeah. It's kind of just walking and means business. That's the type of personality. So we're going to get a lot of like rotations happening in the torso. Again, you know, even though I'm experienced in walks, I always get the reference. So you're going to be using this reference. You just want these 4 poses. Obviously, the last pose is going to be this one, but mirrored. And that's our starting base, right? We'll start off from that. So because this character is sideways, we'll just kind of have him walking like this sideways, right? Coming on. But we might just straighten this foot a little like that, yeah. Okay. All right. So first things first, we'll create these we'll create the roll here going up, right? And you know what, I'm just going to show the joints so I know if the legs are being stretched out too much or not. Okay, so we've got this one, and obviously excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold, and we'll just rotate for the back here. We'll move this forward a bit like this, right? So we've got that happening. And also we will rotate the legs a bit so the hips are leading and rotating towards the leading leg, which is very important. So at the moment, we'll just do that for now. We just want to get the hips and legs working right. Okay, so what we'll do, if I just let me just go to joints. If I select all the joints, let's call a layer here, let's call this joints, because we don't want to be selecting this. We'll add it and we'll change this to R, so we're not selecting. Excuse me. So I'll grab everything and key it. Next pose is the contact. Sorry, not the contact. The weight, taking the weight. And then what we'll do, because we're going to do it on the spot, we'll bring it back a bit here. T, yeah, T. We'll keep it at T so we can see it properly. So it's taking a weight. This leg is starting to come off. So it's starting to come off. And just slightly go forward, which means if there's no toe. All right, is there a toe, Roland? No. There is a toe one, but it is this, I think. Yeah, so that's what we want. So we kind of want this one coming off slightly, right? And we want it to take the weight. So we want to take the weight. So there's a little bit of a bend in the leg there, which is fine. Then we'll key that. The next one is the passing position. So it goes up a little bit, not that much though, just a tad, right? This foot comes back in the middle. and then this one comes forward. Let's see. Passing. In fact, let's just rotate it, not as much. We'll have a little bit like that. That's fine. Just rotate. You know what? What I'll do, I'll delete, put this on 0. Bring this down. Yeah, that's better. I'll roll this up. There. Yeah, that's fine. Just have this a bit forward. That yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes. Okay, so then we'll key everything here. And then we got the high position, right? So this one is, we bring this one back. So that goes back with a bit of a roll. So we want a little bit of a roll. We want the leg to be slightly bent, you know, there. And then this leg comes out more, but it rotates. And forward. With a little, the toe is already coming in. Like that. We'll just bend it a bit more. But what we want to do here is there's the high point. It's the high point, right? Which means again, we want this. There. Maybe a little bit more back. And then roll it. And then we can work on that as we polish. We'll not have it as high. Can bring it down a little, yeah. Okay. And then what we want to do now is we go back to 1, copy that to 12, but we want to make it opposite, right? So normally what I do is, I normally have Animbot at work, but what I'll do, I'll duplicate this, unparent it, then group it. So I've basically got the copy of it here, and then I want to just do the opposite. I want to bring this one back, and I want to bring this one forward. And the hips, I basically want to do the opposite. I want to take the minus away and take the 3 away, yeah. Which is what I want to do. So I want Did I have X? Yeah. So it is forward. Yeah. That way. Okay. And this. So this is basically going to be this toe. Okay. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to match this one, right? So contact. So take the roll off. Just have a roll up. Roll up. Just bring it back a bit. Bring it back a little bit, yeah. And then with this one, I want to zero that out. Bring this one back. And just roll. Let's roll. It's not going to be exact, but it gives an idea, right? So the roll, but if I just delete this. If I go back here, as you can see, the rotation, the X is rotating out. And when we come here, we naturally want this rotation to be forward because that leg is forward. So I'll move this a bit forward like that. So we've got maybe a bit out as well. There. Okay. We can sort out that hips in a bit. Okay. And then what we'll do, I'll just key this. What happened to the textures on the face? Oh no, let's get this. What's the juggernaut head, right? Juggernaut head. We got to get the textures back. There you go. Oh, you can see that happening there, but don't worry about that. We can sort that out. That's just basically there, right? So you can just ease this in. Just keep doing this. That will smooth that out. So if we go now, see, it'll be smooth like that. But then you can always do that later. But I guess as you're doing it, you want to make sure it's looking good, you know. Okay, so then we'll do that. And then the next one is the contact. So we'll come here, contact, and then obviously take the weight, bring the leg down, right? We could bring that back a bit. And then this comes up. This starts to come up a little bit. So we'll just bring it up. So let's see, that comes up, that comes up. Yeah, and it comes up there. And then it's passing position. So then this one comes back, rises slightly. This comes forward. We can just keep that going forward. Kind of rotate that toe back a bit. Make sure it's not intersecting the ground around here. Right, you got that. And then we're just trying to get the mechanics right. And then there's the highest point, the extreme, which is up here, up the extreme, and then what we'll do, we'll move this back because that's the extreme, and then that is what's happening here. Oh, sorry. So that, then this is the roll. Yeah, the roll here. It's coming forward. Then it's the toe. There, like that. Then we just key that. But with this roll back, I want to make sure the leg is not too straight, right? There's a little bit of a bend. And then going back. Okay, and then key all that. Select everything, key at, then go to the start and key the same frame at the end. Okay, so you've got a little bit of a cycle there. Okay, now what we want to do, that's a bit, for me, that's a bit fast. So let's go to 30. Or let's go to, not 30. Let's go to 40. Grab everything. Snap. All right. Excuse me. Well, let's check this out. Yeah, pace feels a bit more better. Okay. All right. And then what we can do is, you see this rotation, as you can see here, we can start rotating this down. Okay. And then here too, I mean, we could just, you can just delete these in betweens. Even here, if you want, you can delete those. If you have a look now. Okay, so we've got that happening. Now what we want to do, if we go back to the top bit, we could have a look at the, we could have a look here and be like, all right, maybe this needs to be a bit more down, right? Copy that to this down. Well, I don't know why it doesn't copy properly. Come on. Okay, this is 5. Okay, then we can start cycling. We're going to be like high, down, and then the next high should be like here, same as this. So that's 2.5. Let's put it at 2.5. 2.5. Okay. And then you've got this one. So it's down, up. So as it comes down, there's an up. So that up is here as well. So just copy. Oops. Again, it didn't copy properly, did it? Okay, there. And then you've got this one, which is going to be the same. Okay, so you've got your up and down happening here equally. Okay, and now if we look now, It's a bit more equally happening, right? Now this, I think this rotation is a bit too much. So what we'll do, if we come here, you can see the rotation here. So if we play it, we can kind of bring it down, cycle that. But when we do that, you noticed there, it's straight, right? So what we'll do, we'll just bring the foot back a bit. Bring the foot back, right? There, so we're bringing it back. So we're getting that. The other thing I'll do is, if we look at the foot, the overall foot, what I might do, Y, yeah, let's see the Y translation here. So what I'll do, I'll just delete everything, and in the Y, just rotate it a little bit forward like that, right? All right, and you see that translation? What we'll do, we'll delete all this. We'll just have a look. Right, and then there's going to be a bit of this happening. So what we can do, we'll just move out this Z. Yeah, and then when we come to polish, we'll just polish it a bit more. So it's smooth like the last one. Okay. So what we'll do, we've got this happening. And even here, what we'll do here, you can see from the start, front is too wide, right? So we'll just bring this in a bit. So even here, we'll come here, we'll delete all the keys and just bring this in a bit. A little bit there. Okay, so we've got that coming in. And if we look at the foot, we'll do the feet at the end. Normally I do the feet all at the end. But that's fine. Excuse me. Now what we'll do is, we'll get the hips. And whenever there's a step, as you can see there, there's a weight shift. And we'll just slightly go to that side, right? To the side where the weight is. Because that's normally where. And then weight shift, step, and then weight shift this way, right? So we're going to get that side to side. That's what we want. Obviously, it's jotting around there. That's because when we come here, it's like this. So if we delete, even that middle one, cycle that, make the cycle a bit more like that. What is that? 3 squares? That much? Okay, let's have a look now. So look, you see there's a bit of a side to side happening there. So what is this? So we'll do 3 and minus 3. And we could even do maybe a bit more if you want. You know, here, this bit's all right. Yeah, that's fine. That'll do. Got a little bit of in the middle there, which is fine. So it's looking a bit like that. Okay, so we've got that working. And then what we'll do, there, you see how it's straight there? All right, now what we want to do now is, no, that's the hips, that's fine. And we've got these two bits at the top here. Let's get rid of the joints. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is, because we've got the rotation, going this way, right? We want basically want that kind of a shape. Okay, so in order to get that, we're gonna rotate this way, right? I'm gonna rotate the middle one too, but the top one I'm gonna do a little bit more there. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in the middle, the end, copy that first one to the end, and in the middle, what we got, this one, we're just gonna, in fact, what we'll do, because it's that way, we're gonna rotate it this way. Okay, because I know this is rotated, it is rotating this way, but we're gonna counter with the top bit, with the chest. So we've got that rotating, so we know it's going this way, right? And so this way is going to be like that way. Okay, so we'll go like that, and we'll get the top one, we'll just rotate that a little bit more because we want that kind of. All right, now you know it's all messed up because, as you know, we have this, so we'll just delete the in-betweens so we can get nice smooth transitions. I believe that is it. See, we're just getting that kind of, that's what we want. Okay, that's what we want. Now, do we want to tone this down a bit? Let's see. Shall we tone it down a little bit? Do we want to add, shall we add a little bit of rotation, yeah? Going in like that, in the Y. So if we come back here, yeah, so if we go to the Y again, yeah, you're getting a bit more of that. And then we might want to just be up a little bit, and as we come back, maybe down, and then delete those because it's going to be like that. So just delete in betweens and have a look how that looks. All right, it just adds that something that isn't normally there, right? And if we come here, we would also rotate here and maybe rotate forward too, like that. And then we come back here. Okay, and then we'll do the same for the middle one. We'll just delete, go to Y, just check that out. All right, see, that's a bit too much, right? So what we'll do, where it's a bit too much, we'll just come up here, rotate it down slightly, right? There. And then what we'll do is we come here and we can see in the axes, in the red, we can just bring it down a little bit more, bring that up. There, okay. So we've got that happening. And you know what? We might, I think what we can do here is if we get these, let's get this bottom one. This bottom one, yeah, we can rotate. So if we get the Z, just have it leaning a little bit forward, right? And then delete. Even here, so if we come here, even the Z, if we go to, I would say, the blue Z as well. So it's kind of like looking. See, all I'm doing here is I'm grabbing this axis and I'm just moving it up and down to see how it would suit. So if we go in the side view, I'd be like, all right, let me just make it forward a bit. See, now it looks like he's kind of looking and it's a bit cautious, right? He's kind of looking a bit cautious. He's got the sword behind him. Maybe we can tone the rotation down a little bit. So if we go back here and we go to rotation Z, or should I say X? So if we go to X, we can be like, all right, you know what? Let's cycle this. Let's play it, because then we can kind of go in the middle here, select everything, just go in the middle. Yeah, that feels a bit better, doesn't it? And then we can tone down this. Actually, that's all right. We can go to the Y, tone down the Y. Okay. That feels a bit better, isn't it? But then what we can do is, because of the shoulder, so we can select the shoulder, all these controls, and just delete all the keys. So we got something fresh to start with. So what we can do here is we can start playing around with the shoulder and bring it down. So we can start altering the poses slightly. So you've got the arm coming down here, right? And then we could even have the arm like this. So it's kind of like ready. And you could even, excuse me, start playing around with the fingers. So it's like kind of ready. See? Or even better, if we bring this up, actually, let's keep it down here. In fact, what if we did bring it up and then slightly turn this around, so it's kind of just, you know, like a bit cautious. There, you see? It's kind of like a bit cautious, right? Now, obviously, the inherent rotation on the shoulder globals, you know, is following the chest. So normally in this rig, I can't find a control where it just lets go of that, but you have to just counter it, I'm afraid. So you have to come here, come up, and kind of just counter it. You see, like that. So what we'll do here, we'll have the shoulder down as we do, and when we get to here, we'll just have it up. Maybe 2 up, that's 2 up. Bring it down a little bit. And then we can start adding some movement. to the rotation to the upper arm, and then obviously rotation here as well, so we can come here just slightly, so you've got a little bit of movement there, you see. And then same with this one, so you just key in the end so the frame's the same. I'm keying all of them so the frame's the same, and then maybe just lift it up a little, right, like this. Okay, now what you can start doing, even here, the chest, so as he comes down, takes the weight, there's a root. Let's do both of them. Translate down, and then again translate down. Okay, so if we go to the translates, if we go here, we can see bottom one, translate. There's a high there, right? So we'll delete this, and then delete this, delete this, delete this. So you got that. Same with that one. Make this a bit higher as well. Okay, you've got that. Then you can cycle this. We can clean up all of this. Excuse me, we can clean that all up later. Okay, save your work. Okay, now what we can do here is, you know, when this this is coming up, you could even have it so it's closer. Yeah. And then what we can do is we can start offsetting. So if we select the shoulders, arm, wrist, everything, we look here, what we can do, we can cycle this, and then we can just deselect and move one frame, deselect the top, move it 2 frames, deselect the forearm, and then move it like this. See, it's a bit more of a, and then what you can do is you can start rotating, just play around with the rotations here. There, you see, that's a bit too much. And then just tone it down a little. Then you could get, you know, is that too much? You can bring that down a bit. Yeah, that seems all right. And then what you can do is, even with, so let's key here. So we come to 20, we can kind of have the hands like that, right? And then it comes there, it could be down a bit. And then what you can do, you can come here and you can cycle this, and you can even offset this by 1, 2, 3, 4, because the wrist is 4, so this will be 3, sorry, this will be 4. Then you can offset, keep the index finger, but offset the middle, and then offset the thumb another 1, 2, right? So you're creating that kind of an offset there, right? You're getting that little bit of movement coming in. And then if you want, you can just select them all. If you want to overall move it there, you see, you can move it a bit more, and then you can play around with that. Okay, so you've got that working. You've got that little walk working. Don't worry about this intersection. You know, that stuff. We can always sort that out in the polishing, because, you know, all that is this rotation here, right? That's all it is. You can always sort that out in the polishing. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. But you've got the main thing is you've got the main mechanics, right? And even with here, even though this is static, we'll select all of this, and we'll delete all these keys. Just save this, and key at the front, key at the end, and in the middle, if you want, you can just have a little bit of movement, right? So it adds a little bit there. And if you want, you could offset, so you could come here and just offset that, so by 1, and then you could offset the wrist by 1, 2. Make sure you cycle it. Right. We don't want that to move too much. We want that to be fixed. Okay, and then you've got, of course, the head. So if you select the head, delete all this, key in the middle, and then what we're going to do is when we take the hit, when we take going down, we're basically just rotating, and then copy that here to 24. So, and what we'll do, we'll come in here, check out that rotation there, down, down, and we can just adjust that. You can adjust it, and we can move it if you want, right? If you want it a bit softer, you can move it, and we could even make it a bit softer. Move it a bit more. There. And also if we go to the neck, we could even make that softer as well, yeah? There. So there you go. So you got a bit of this softness, and you got this head coming down just as the step. Okay. And then we're going to start polishing the legs and everything. So what we'll do, we'll put the skeleton back on. And what I'll do, we'll get this just rotating all the way up. Keep that, just keep it up. Then back, copy that to the start, bring it forward, make a little drag, yeah, we'll just add a little there. You see it's intersecting there, so we'll just push it forward even here, so keep it forward, still going forward it, maybe don't need to go too much there. Yeah, we just want to make sure it doesn't intersect. That's fine. Okay. All right, so we got that. We got the mechanics working there. Yeah, that's fine. We can sort that out later. Okay, so let's look at the feet. So if we look here, so if we first, let's get the Okay, from here to here, it's going to be foot on the floor, right? So we'll get that sorted. Okay, so let's have a look. And you see how that locks out? How quickly it goes up here. So that is the roll here. And as you can see, that roll is basically that. So let's try and soften that out. But as you can see here, it's very straight. It's straightening, right? We don't want that. So what we'll do with the feet, you have to end up doing every frame anyway. You not always, but I'll find you're just polishing, aren't you? So we come here, as you can see, it's all in the air there, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to come here. I'm going to bring that down. Bring it down. Bring it down. Then bring it down here. Bring that up. That's the kind of arc you're looking for. But here, you see here, you still want it down, back, still rounded. Rounded. You just want that nice arc. There, you see, you're getting that nice. But at the same time, you want it still to be pushing off. There, you see, you still want it to push off. I would even say this needs to be down a bit more, and this needs to be rotated like that, and then yeah, even this, I would say, yeah, you see this, let's go to Y and zero Y out. See, when we zero Y out, why is it like that? That's not right? So I think there's something not right with the rig there, man. All right, what we'll do, I mean, it feels nice, feels all right, right? There could be a bit more of a push coming off, but it's got a bit of a. So what we'll do now, we'll delete that. Then we'll go to the next one. And then what we'll do, we'll create a motion trail there. Check that out. and do the same thing. So here, you see here, even here, I think this should be a pushback here, and then, you know, nice curve here, like that. And I think that there's the roll. You can see the roll here. There's a bit of a pause, isn't it, when see, there's a bit of that. That's what we want, right? There. Oops. Maybe a bit more of a roll. Yeah, and then what we want to do, if you look at the halfway there, that might be a bit smoother. Yeah, you see that? See how that's a bit more smoother? Because it's going a bit more smoother like that. And what we'll do, there's just a little stretching there. There's something bothering me about there. You see when it comes there, it pulls. I just think, or maybe that's the last one, isn't it? Here. What we can do here is, that's all right. That's what, maybe just slightly bend. Slightly. Yeah. That just feels a bit better. And then here, this one, if we come here, right, we can both roll this down, still roll this down. Yeah, that feels better. Okay. And then we're nearly there. You might just want to add, if we come here, let's go to the toe. Okay. So when that comes down, the toe is still up. Wait. Yeah, the toe this toe is still up. Okay. And then there as well. So here we'll just have it up and then it lands. Oh, actually it needs to be up here. That's it. bring that back. Nope, made a mistake. Actually, let's delete that. We forgot to, as that lands, that should be straight away. There, you see? But this needs to be a bit more. Oh, what we'll do, just bring it in a little bit. No, we'll make it 2 frames, that's fine. Okay, so we've got it coming down 2 frames, that's fine. This one's coming down 1 frame, so we can make that come down 2 frames. And let's select the toe here and have that delayed. Yeah, so what we want to do here, we just want to get the toe, and then here we just want to delay it, delay, and then hit. Yeah, now that might be a bit too extreme. We can always bring it down. We can get rid of that, just have it a bit down. So if we look now, and just bring it down a little. There, okay. Bring the toe down, but you can play around with that. But that's the overall mechanics of a kind of a walk with personality, right? The sneaky kind of, you know, if you look from the back, you're going to be seeing this character from the back quite a bit, right? So, and then we'll save that. What we'll do, just under an hour there, we've got that pretty decent walk there. And then what we'll do with this, we're just trying to make sure that this doesn't intersect. So we'll just bring it out. Yeah, you don't have to worry too much about the cost. But there you go. You have a nice walk there now. Okay, so that's basically the sneaky walk. And then we'll do a run. So he's sneaking around, having a look. Oh, it's a bit cautious, right? It's a bit cool. If you really want to polish a bit more, what you can do is, you see these fingers here? You can start offsetting these a little bit more as well, just to add a bit more, because we already got, if we go into the wrist, this bit, we already got these offset slightly. So what you could do is index. So what? Index, right? So that's first, middle, index, thumb, middle. Could even, you know, you could just kind of rotate that a bit, offset it a bit more, just to break things up. Well, actually put it back where it was, it's fine. But yeah, there you go. There you have a simple, from blocking. We didn't do step till, we just did a blocking, right, all the way, and then got ourselves a decent walk, right? Right, side to side, moving side to side, taking the weight, you know, head movement. And then we'll move on to the run next. Again, this is all in my animation mastery, a lot more detailed, a lot more detailed, a lot more to the polish as well, and a lot more detailed. My animation mastery is half price, over the half price, so it's super discount. So check it out. Link in description. You can check that out. And there's also an inner circle group where I give personal feedback to all the students. And yeah, so far I got good feedback from the course. People are loving it. They enjoy it. So check it out. Check out the webinar. Check out the case study. See if it's for you. And any questions, just give me a message. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video. All right, guys. I will see you in the next video. And remember, guys, Maya Animation Mastery is on a very special offer. It's half price off the half price. So it's even more, reduced for the New Year's. So check that out. A lot of students have enrolled. Like I had about just 10 students over the last 2-3 days enrolling. So the offer's there to end of January, New Year's. Okay, for you guys. All right, I'll see you in the next video.